Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema. So this live is going to be about how people are turning to, oh my Lord, how people are burning their books, their malas, their knowledge, their tarot cards, their oracle cards, the knowledge of the ancient wisdom, not the new age bullshit, ancient wisdom. Books on Tibet, books on Buddhism. Of course, this person was a follower of Osho, so I'm not shocked. And I'm sorry, whoever you guys are listening to this live right now, go down the rabbit hole of Osho. Go down the rabbit hole. Tell me why a supposed spiritual man would have over 30 Rolls Royces, one gold plated. Why? And why would he take everyone's money that followed him? Deva Premal and Mitan were part of that, cult. And and I love Deva Premal. And people go through their own journeys. And it is what it is. However, when you follow people like Osho and Moji and guys like that, people like that, you're going to deal with cult energy. And you're going to deal with all kinds of confusion, especially if you're already confused as you're going through the awakening, the great awakening. You're gonna scare the shit out of yourself. I did a live previously to the one on wolves. You can look it up on my YouTube channel. And it was about opening the third eye. And how people were actually thinking that demons were coming at them. I'm not joking. People actually think that when you open your third eye, it is devil's work. When the Vedic scriptures, the oldest holy book in human recall, are between, depending on who you talk to, minimum 7,000, 10,000 years old. They outrank the Bible. They outrank the Torah. Period, end, stop. That's it. Any religion that oppresses women, I don't care if it's a woke religion, if it's anything that suppresses, oppresses the female womb, the holy grail that brings life into this planet, is fucking toxic. Period, end, stop. That's it. But there are people who are supposedly on the journey of great awakening, of five-dimensional understanding, who scared the shit out of themselves to the point where this guy, I swear to God, he looks like he was rich on Facebook. I haven't had time to do my Facebook purging. And many of you won't. And I understand, I'm not judging you, okay? This is not about that. It's about the fact that on my feed, he's actually a friend of mine. I guess we have two mutual friends. And he was burning everything. Books on ayahuasca, it's like, well, first of all, it harks back to the Inquisition. It smacks of when they were book burning in the Dark Ages. They called it the Dark Ages for a fucking reason, my friends, in Europe. And the reason why we have what we know about Plato, Socrates, Hippocrates, all of these people, Sappho, Cicero's work, and so on. And the reason why we have that information, just so you know, are two reasons, two different cultures. The Arabic culture, yes, the Arabs were copying a lot of these ancient scrolls that were being burned by Catholicism. And then you have the Irish. Those two cultures, and I'm going to call them cultures, not European culture. The Irish are a whole different breed of people. They fascinate me. And I have a massive soul DNA connection to the Irish, obviously. The Arabs are the reason why you go to school today and you can actually open a book on Plato. The last massive purge on the Alexandria Library, you can watch the movie Agora. Good luck if you can find it, with Rachel Weisz, Agora, Agora. I've mentioned this movie many times. I haven't mentioned this movie in actually a year. So, however, it talks about the last plundering and purging of the Alexandria Library, or the Library of Knowledge, which would have been around 400 thereabouts AD, after death of Jesus. If you want to learn Christ, if you want to connect with Yeshua and his true essence and his truest, beautiful soul, then I would imagine that you would want to read the Gnostic Gospel and some of the lost writings that were rushed into jars and hightailed into the caves of Mount Sinai, for example, aka the Dead Sea Scroll, the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Thomas. You would think people would want to actually learn the true Yeshua and Mary Magdalene and the divinity of their love and the divinity of Mother Mary. And I'm not Christian, and I think I have more respect for these sentient beings, these sparks of life, than I think most. I mean, I'm straight up. Going to church every Sunday does not absolve you from anything. You are responsible. And if you read the Gnostic Gospel in our esoteric book club, after recall, we're reading the Gnostic Gospel. It's been decided. And it's like less than 150 pages. But it was made into a PBS show in I think it was 1998, 1999. Because it really showed this incredible love that Yeshua had for Mary Magdalene, and not just as an equal, yes, a fucking equal, which was completely against the Judeo belief systems, okay, about female autonomy, power, and so forth. I mean, fuck it. And I'm not even saying it from a feminine point of view. I'm saying it from an honest, truth-seeking point of view. That there is a point in the Gnostic Gospel where he's kissing her on the lips, and the 12 apostles, the men, no offense, guys, like sit your ass down and listen, because many of us have been men and women. We've changed gender throughout these incarnations, so don't get triggered, okay? Like, check yourself at the door. These 12 men were jealous of Mary of Magdalena, who was a debutante. She was from a wealthy family. In fact, her village was called Magdalena. And she was wealthy. She was like a hippie chick who saw Yeshua, who had gone through her own sacred rite as a high priestess, who had gone through her own training, and met a like-minded divine masculine. Hello, what does that sound like? Sounds like some twin flames out there, doesn't it? And the outside environment of the Roman Empire in Palestine, and the you know who, since everything we say it can't be anti whatever, if you get my drift, wink, fucking wink, were against female autonomy. Against. Okay? So the sacred cults, you want to call it cults? Okay, fuck, we'll call it cults. The sacred rites of the ancient high priestesses that were very powerful. I've told many little stories here and there about how priestesses were taking care of men after war and what we did and this and that. Okay, many of you feminine and masculines, if you just men, please tap into your fucking feminine. Women, please tap into your masculine. Like, for once in your life, just sit and go, what was it like to love a woman if you're a woman? What was it like to love a man if you're a man right now when you were a woman? I mean, in other words, tap in to your past lives of the opposite gender if you're a man right now when you were a woman. I mean, in other words, tap in to your past lives of the opposite gender you embody today, so you can have more empathy and more connection with those past lives that have such wisdoms to share with you. I know what it was like to enter a woman. I remember. And I know what it was like to love a woman, to be a woman, when I was gay. I mean, there shouldn't be any confusion. It's like saying when I was 6, I loved Sorbets, now I don't. Now I don't like sorbets. I prefer ice cream. I prefer cream in my ice dessert. Does that make sense? In other words, when changes, when you're 6, you like strawberries. When you're 15, you don't anymore. It doesn't define you today. None of it does. Not the good past, not the bad past, not any of it. But let's go back to the reason why I did this live. Is that more and more we're going to lose them. Again, the 144,000 at any one given time is not a fucking joke. 144,000. Because they will run to the old Stockholm syndrome of the supposed holy book that holds the secrets of everything. This guy had the audacity to quote, what was it? Paul 19:19. And comparing what you and I are doing to no offense, okay? Dark, black, and red witchcraft, if you know what I'm saying, okay? It's not the same as white, green, or I'm going to throw it in. They're telling me to throw it in gold witchcraft, okay? It's different. And I'm not even going to call it witchcraft because that's actually a reversal of your true power. Why would you call yourself a witch when you were a fucking high priestess? You were a high priestess before you were ever a witch. Witch was a downgrade of what you really are. What you really are is a high priestess. And as the eons came into play with these dogmatic belief systems based on religious ideas, we were downgraded to Wiccas, witches, warlocks. But in our earliest truth, we were high priests and high priestesses, and we were druid and druidesses, and we were shamans. Okay? Am I correct? In my view, I am. You don't have to fucking believe me. Call yourself a witch all you want. I don't give a fuck, but I'm telling you what I feel. So I don't call myself a witch. I call myself a high priestess, a druidess, a shaman. Those are the terms I hold on to because those are my terms that show me my very beginnings when I was fully in my capacity to manifest at will, turning water into wine, as you all did. You all, at some point, whether on this dimensional planet of planet Earth or before it fell into a complete shit show from 5D, 6D in Atlantis, Lemuria, and beyond this planet, of course. But you're going to see a lot of things happening. You're going to see really good people dropping their bodies because their body, the junk DNA, cannot activate itself to go through the transition of 3D to 5D because it's a fucking shit show. You know it. You're getting your ass kicked. And then you will have people who are lost on the path. Literally, you're walking down the path, you're going up this mountain, the view's beautiful, you're having a conversation with someone, and someone, boom, they literally fall off the side of the fucking mountain. You're like, what the fuck? And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Because they have decided to run back like a wild animal running back to its cage to do what it understands in the context of a 3D monkey mind. It is the monkey mind because if this person was for real, the last thing they would have done is burn a fucking thing. You know what they would have done? They would have taken boxes and boxes of these things and donated to a library to sell, to make money, to earn money for whatever needs the library needs. But do you see the consciousness of burning and thinking, and there were people around this person helping them throw these things to the funeral pyre of knowledge. You're going to see them. You're going to see them fall one by the wayside. And that's why that number is not a 5. I used to think it was, 144,000 for a certain type of high elevated souls. But it's at any given time, 144 at any given time. That means when I drop my body, somebody else will replace and take the baton. The number never changes. It's a vibrational match. And yes, I'm part of that 144,000, as many of you are or could be or on your way to being. When one of us dies, you'll take on the baton. Does that make sense? But some of you are going through your soul's growth, and I'm cautioning you not to scare the shit out of yourself. Because many of you are, trust me, you think it's not going to happen. And I'm realizing, holy fuck. The guy did ayahuasca, and that was his fucking, that's what I'm saying. Will Smith was a poster child of sometimes just having money and doing 14 fucking trips of ayahuasca is not going to get you shit. At all. Clearly the guy's not healed. Because when you're on ayahuasca, when you've done these journeys with the great mother and the grandfather and this and that and the other, the last thing you're going to do is bitch slap anyone. For any reason. So clearly, you don't have to do any of these. Like, don't put yourself on the shelf going, oh, when I do Bufo, I'll be okay. No, I mean, for some of us, that was the truth, and we will be led, and the drive is so intense, we can't help ourselves. And we don't have the money, and we're driven to these shamans because our soul contract, our soul group, the light bringers, the ones on the other side of the veils know that that's the path for us, for some of us. But for some of you, seriously, it isn't. All you have to do is meditate. Do some gong sound bath healing. I'm not joking. You might need a couple combo, situations. Maybe, not even that. Some of you are much more advanced than you give yourself credit for because your hardware, think of a computer. I'm going to give you this example. So think of me and people like me, right? Well, and I mean people like me, not fucking, no offense to them, but fuck it. What are they called? Boomers. Your average boomer, okay, I don't consider myself an average boomer, but boomers like me, boomers who have done the journey, boomers who always remembered our initial starting point. Do you understand? Still, we were given a hardware that was very clunky. Think of it as an Apple, a Mac, the early Macs from the 1970s, right? Now, if I took a Mac from the 1970s right now, the software would not, in other words, I could try to download it all day long, but first of all, the 1970s Mac is not going to be, a match to Wi-Fi today, software today. It just won't, right? The only thing I could do is literally open up the machine and insert to it all the new hardware, hence the activation of the junk DNA, if that makes any sense at all to you. And so I would open this machine and put in, so visually it still looked like a 1970s Mac, but internally it would be upgraded. Hence junk DNA activations, third eye openings, Kundalini awakenings, things of that nature. Do you get what I'm saying? But to the eye, once you've closed up the machine and you now it can connect to Wi-Fi, download all the software. Do you get what I'm saying? But to the eye, once you've closed up the machine and you now it can connect to Wi-Fi, download all the softwares, this and that. It's an old fucking machine, but it's not. It's been upgraded. Some of you are like a completely new hardware, completely new software, and the downloads are happening while you're sleeping, and there's not much you have to do. But at one point, you will have to upgrade your hardware, if that makes any sense at all. I hope this is a good analogy for you guys to like wrap yourself around the concept of junk DNA. The concept that we only use, like, I don't know, depending on who you talk to, 7% of our brains, 15% of our brains. Obviously, that must be true or else you and I could see, hear, telepathically communicate with ease and manifest with ease. The monkey mind would not be the fucking rabid guard dog that prevents us from actually getting shit done. Hence why I tell people to read The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, Michael Singer, as a primer to the beginning of this journey, because that's going to bring you to an understanding of how fucking dangerous the monkey mind is left unchecked. Like in this, I'll give you an example, personal example. This morning, I realized that I was listening to the wrong things, right? Not in my mind. I mean, literally, as I was getting ready to take my son to work. And I was like, oh no, And the whole time, for literally 30 minutes, I chanted Om Namah Shivaya. I also worked on my chakras, gratitude mantras, self-love mantras. That's like literally my morning routine. If my mind is not in the right place for whatever reason, outside influences, it's usually outside influences. It's never internal conflict in a sense. The internal conflicts that I'm not going to say how you think, but how I think, the external conflicts create in me an internal conflict that I have to overcome through mantras, through meditation, okay? And connecting to Pachamama, nature, in some aspect, in some capacity, some way, somehow. Does that make sense? So when you see people who have been spiritually, whatever, connecting to what we call the New Age, which I have completely rejected, because the New Age, I've talked about in many of my lives. You can look at, again, go to YouTube, Sacred Intimacy Tarot. There it is, all my lives. And I'll start cataloging them more and more. I've been starting already. Twin Flames lives, all kinds of lives, guided meditation lives, shit like that. Go check it out. And I will catalog more. But let's go back to what we're talking about. The outside external influences that, and I'm going to use Mary Magdalena and Yeshua, was the fuckery that created the shit show that you all know about in the New Testament. I mean, you've all, at least to some level, read about it or heard about it in some aspects, right? And it was the external. They internally were fucking right as rain. They were fine. But outside influences, including the 12 apostles, were putting them in weird situations. There was a massive disrespect of Mary Magdalena by misogynistic men. I'm sorry, fuck it. I don't give a shit if you're offended. And they came from a culture that actually is misogynistic. And still, that reverberation of that fact is a problem that we're having across the planet. And the irony of ironies with men, which I'm really getting sick of weak men, and the level, the amounts of weak men we have is fucking staggering. It's staggering. When I see women who are more masculine in their power to get shit done than men. And this has been talked about in women's studies. I remember taking women's studies class, loved that fucking class. And I still have the book. That was one book I was never going to sell. It also has a transgender aspect to it, which I'd love to talk about, but I'd be fucking pulled out of the... And it's a fascinating historical study that of the first transgender situation. It happened right before the American Revolution, 1700. This was a British man, woman. I could tell you the story, but I can't tell it to you properly, unfortunately. So if I do a live, remind me, any of you that follow me, that are part of my esoteric book club, remind me to do a live, and I'm going to read it to you verbatim. I'd love to. Verbatim. Fascinating story. We have always have been marginalized because, I mean, read any fucking Jane Austen book. And because we were too powerful. There's something about being incarnated in the feminine body. Men love to fucking pull women down for having their periods. Your hormones, Yeah, our fucking hormones, that's right. That connects us to the moon, the ocean, the elements. That connects us to massive plugging into spirituality, to our ability to empower the masculine, if he's fucking smart. If he's fucking smart, he'll get a smart woman that's powerful and equal to him, and she will be his high priestess to his magician energy, if that makes sense. Magician meaning making shit happen in 3D. But the problem that we're having, because there are so many fucking weak men, and don't tell me you're a fucking strong man unless you're an alpha male doing your fucking healing work with other men and women. But most of you are not. You're not. You're silent. You're watching. I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for, but whatever. So what's happened is that feminines they've had to bastardize themselves into a masculine energy to get shit done. So not only are they toggling between the spiritual concept of plugging into the universe to empower themselves with downloads, psychic gifts and so forth, but they've also had to now bring that wisdom from the ethers and from the light beings on the other side into the material world, because there aren't enough strong men. Ari is one of the strong men I look up to. Whether or not he's polyamorous, I don't give a fuck, actually. Don't mistake when I say a strong man as a monogamous man or a polyamorous man. I mean a strong fucking man. A man who knows what he wants, what he needs in his life, and he's fucking transparent about it. And there's integrity in what he does. I don't care if he's wearing blue nail polish and lifting weights. Don't mistake what I say about what a weak man is as compared to what is a true alpha male. True alpha males nurture their community. It's inherent in them to take care of the feminine, the children, the elders. Look at wolves. That's why I fucking hate hunters that go out and, hunt wolves and coyotes. They have more fucking integrity in their packs than we do as human beings, to be honest. But that's on a side note. So when you're out there and you're looking at people burning books, I'm sorry, I gotta laugh. Because it's like, the guy's a fucking idiot. Because to donate the books to the library, to a hospital, to sell these books for like 10, 20 bucks. Some of these books could have been very valuable, worth hundreds of dollars. I know I've bought books for 25 cents and flipped them for 200 bucks because they were valuable. I used to sell books for a living, antique books, believe it or not, when I was, when my son had just been born. And so my point to you is that the minute you see someone saying, I'm following Christ, but I'm burning all this shit, it's a massive red flag that there's an illness here. There's a toxicity to this that is so egregious that it's actually concerning. It's actually concerning. Let me read your comments. Hang on. For some reason, your comment, Mama Yeti, was blocked. Yes, the alpha is not a bully. He guards the elders, and exactly. And people don't even know what a fucking alpha male is. People don't know what a real masculine is, and they think it's a guy swaggering in the gym with fucking, 18-inch neck and 23-inch biceps and 26-inch thighs. That's not an alpha male, okay? Some alpha males are actually, you would say they have a swimmer's body, or they could be in a wheelchair, or whatever. That's my point. The perception is not visual. I kind of just made an analogy with the boomer and the hardware and, all of that previous. But ultimately, the act of burning anything, there are scriptures and books. I'm not going to name their names, but if you know me, you probably have a clue. I would never burn, though I think they're fucking dangerous and they're harmful to people. And children, actually, in particular children. And I won't say what it is. But I think that should be. But would I do it? No, because it would be a precedent to other people burning other things, like the wisdoms of Buddhism. Can you imagine burning Eckhart Tolle's work? Can you imagine? Who the fuck? Dr. Joe Dispenza's work? Thich Nhat Hanh's? Thich Nhat Hanh? I'm sorry. Wait, hang on. You're burning Thich Nhat Hanh's How to Love? How to Deal with Death? How to Deal with Your Anger? You're burning those books and you think you're now close to Christ? Fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. You've now become a religious fanatic, a fascist. And that is a dangerous thing to allow. I have a lot of patience and tolerance for people who voted for Trump and for Kamala and for Jill Stein. I don't give a fuck what you voted for. I keep saying that again and again and again. I mean, we have been given the lesser of two evils for so long, it's become a habit. Everyone's fucking used to it instead of going for third party, fourth party, and so forth, like they fucking do in Europe. But what I will say is that my whole connection with human beings is, do you want 5D New Earth? Yes, good. You're in my team. Period. I'm in your team. You're in my team. Good. We're good. Anything below that energy, I have no fucking tolerance for. I'm actually not kidding. You might say, well, you're just, you're saying that you're not consistent with your message. No, I am consistent. I don't hang with assholes. You should be consistent with that too. It's called boundaries. Why? Because you become what you hang with. If you want to be rich, this is just basic psychology. Hang out with the rich. Go to the Ritz-Carlton and buy yourself a $10 cup of coffee and sit and smell the vibes. If you want to be a great mathematician, hang out with mathematicians. If you want to be a great artist, which is what they used to do in Paris, Dali, Picasso, I can't even, Hemingway, Anais Nin, Henry Miller, all of them would hang out in cafes and talk about the nature of culture and art and politics and so forth. If you want to be something, you need to hang with those people. And you always want to hang with people that are fucking better than you by 10%, 50% better than you. So that it makes you rise, it makes you reach for the stars. So I don't have tolerance for people who are assholes. I won't hang with them. Why would I? Why do you think I don't have a calandria on my my booking? I don't have it. You don't think I could have you think I'm dumb? I can't do a calandria where I could just slam dunk tarot readings and slam dunk hypnotherapy? No. I like to chat with people. I want to know, do I want to work with this person? Am I good for them? Do they want to work with me? I once had a conversation that went too far, too long with this woman who was an asshole. And we decided that this was definitely not a match. You know, and instead of her having integrity, and I had to tell her, no, we're not a match. Well, why not? She got defensive because she wanted to tell me like it was a fucking, who gives a fuck who says this is not a match? It doesn't matter. And I said, because your ideas and your expectations and your philosophies are not in alignment with mine. I like to work with people because you know what happens when I work with clients? I develop relationships that become very friendly or true friendships. And so I need to like you to work with you. I'm sorry. It's one of the nice things of having my own business. I don't have to fucking cater to every asshole that walks through my door. I don't. And neither do you. You need to find out, is she who I trust when I do hypnotherapy? Is she who I trust when I do an Akashic reading? Is she who I trust when I'm really freaking out over my business, my career, my twin flames confusion? Is she who I trust? Well, she'll tell me the truth. I tell my Doc Holliday friend, I was talking to her recently. I said, please don't lie to me. Just tell me the truth. She goes, no, I'm really been tired. I'm really tired. It's not you. I'm exhausted. I'm drained. I'm getting my ass kicked because she's another ascending, beautiful sister who's going through the shit show of ascension, okay? And working her ass off, you know, to make ends meet. So, but I always check in with people that I love. And I'm loyal beyond reason, seriously. But I make sure that when I invest that kind of energy, whether it's for a client, because I when I work with a client, I give you my all, everything I got. It doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I make sure that I'm in alignment. I meditate before I connect with a client on a scheduled call or scheduled session. I meditate, I sage, I do my work. So you want to find people like that you want to work with, who are going to tell you the truth. And it doesn't matter if you don't listen. Like I have a male client who I kept saying, stop thinking about X, Y, and Z. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about women. Stop thinking about your twin. You don't have the fucking time for that bullshit. It's all bullshit. Right now, you need to handle your money. And sometimes you have to put aside emotional things, right? I'm not joking. And do your spiritual work to get your money in alignment with you, so then you can go back into your connections with other loving, sentient soulmates and twins. Because if you keep going through the cycle of despair, it will fucking hit your money. Depression is not just depression. It will energetically pull you down, and it'll make you even more bereft and more in a place of despair. I'm not saying don't be depressed. I'm saying, I hate to say this to you, I wish you all had a trust fund. I really wish I could give you all, $300,000 and say, just take the fucking year off. Go find yourself. Go figure yourself out. Go heal. Trust me. I'd love that. But the reality is that's not the reality. And so 6 months is really the wall. And once you hit past 6 months, you're fucked. Okay. I'm just giving you that advice on a side note, completely unrelated to burning books. But it makes me wonder, because I saw the property he was on it. Clearly, he has money, because he said he had like probably $1,000, 1,000 things, including malas from Osho. And again, going back to Osho, I could see how somebody going through a spiritual awakening, going to people like that and being completely, utterly disgusted, confused, and misaligned with their spiritual path, you know. And along the way, you're gonna meet spiritual, what I call spiritual bozos. You are. There's an incredible, hang on, I'm trying to remember her name. Hang on. She's the queen of Tantra. She's a French woman. I'm trying to remember her name. Oh my Lord. Margot Anneau. Yeah, I think it's called, yeah, her name is Margot Anneau, I believe, or Orneau. Margot Anneau. Anyway, so she's in New York. It's probably the late 60s, early 70s. And she's meeting a Hindustani shaman, you know, sage man, you know, wise man. And because she's studying Tantra. And the next thing she knows, she's essayed. Okay? But it's done so subtly. It's against her will, hence essayed. Okay? And so what I'm going to say is that is a reality. It is a common problem in all walks of religious, cultural, spiritual, you know, systems. You have people taking advantage of the most vulnerable, because when you're asking questions about evolution, the ascension, you're confused. You're trying to make sense of X, Y, and Z, and you're trying to put it in place in your logical mind to make sense of it. You are vulnerable. And that means that, unfortunately, you could be put in harm's way, psychologically, physically, and otherwise. And unfortunately, it happens. It happens a lot. And so you have to be secure in your initial hit. Like, don't gaslight. I don't care if the person has a title. I don't care if they're a famous person and they've written 15 books and you admire them. If you get a red flag, you fucking walk out of that situation. Don't even look back. Don't second guess yourself. You're being warned on those situations. And of course, the feminine, okay, is the most vulnerable. The most vulnerable. Yeah. Because the feminine, when she is in her nurturing heart chakra Shakti energy, is the one who is the container of love and unconditional love and unconditional loyalty. There are men like that as well, yes. But the numbers of females outrank the numbers of males in that kind of consciousness. And those females get easily manipulated as they go through their spiritual journey. Easily. By fucked up toxic men. In situations that they're not supposed to be in. But because this toxic spiritual masculine seems to have some right answers, just because somebody has the right answers on some things doesn't mean they're the right person for you. As a lover, as a mentor, as a, whatever the hell you want to call them. It's not a black or white situation. And going back to burning of those holy books, right? Which I'm seeing copper plate etchings of burnings of chairs, of books, of holy relics from other places, you know what I'm saying, other cultures that were done during the Dark Ages. And the absolute entitlement that I have a relationship with my God. Like your God is different than the one who created all of this, because you have a little dunce cap called this religion. So now your God is better than my God. Like there's 20 fucking gods. You know, all these religions have their own God, which is ironic because it harks back to the kind of Anunnaki type of hustle that created many interesting supposed wisdoms in the Old Testament, for example, and other religions, by the way. Just weird little fuckery. Weird little things that makes no sense. And then people go down the abattoir tunnel. Abattoir meaning, I don't even know the name in English. Abattoir. Anyway, going down this tunnel, unquestioning what is being, in other words, taking everything as God's truth. Every fucking morsel without questioning it. Which is crazy to me. It shows a lack of intelligence, because intelligent people question everything. In fact, you can look at it with children. Why does the light bulb work? Why does the sun go down at night? Why is mommy cold? Why do I have to go to school? That's intelligence. It's questioning the concepts of reality that we take for granted without questioning. It's a mark of intelligence. So you need to question everything, but you need to also realize, oh wow, that really felt good to me. That's true. Oh my God, now they're saying something I totally don't agree with. Yeah, it's called the human experience. The human condition is going to give you people who are like you and me, who probably know or remember a little more than you and I do, or much more than you and I do, and they'll say things that totally fucking are wise and totally resonate with us, and sometimes they'll slip in something and we'll go, oh fuck, that well, and what, you know what most people do? When that person that you've put on a pedestal falls and says something you didn't agree with, you actually fucking block them. Instead of having a brain and saying, I don't agree on that, but you know what? They have so many things that I do agree on. I just reject this and I'll move on to the conversation, to the interview, to the talk, to the lesson, to the book, whatever. Like, again, I keep bringing up David Icke's The Dream, the book. Lots of things are fucking on point. In fact, he wrote it, I believe, in 2022, I think 2023. But lots of things I don't agree with. Lots. But lots of things I do agree with, because it's already fucking happened. What he said is happening. So that's what we need to understand. What discernment mean is that not everyone has all the answers, but they're like you, striving to get all the answers. And they will say things that totally resonate, and then they will say things that's like somebody threw a rock in the pond of your consciousness, and now you're troubled because now the person you put on a pedestal has fallen in your eyes, because now they showed that there was something you didn't agree with. And that's, to me, toxic as fuck. Check yourself. Okay? There are some things that you will never agree on. There are some things your twin has said that you'll never agree on. And then one day, depending on what kind of twin you have, like my twin would say shit I would not agree on at all. Reject. And then one day, getting an aha moment going, holy fuck, he's right. This is actually a problem, or this is X, Y, and Z. So it's quite something. So try to be in balance. Don't burn your books, obviously, or your things. Try to be patient with others, and try to take all, like there's an old black saying that says, eat the fish and throw away the bones. I got that from a Jehovah's Witness. This Jehovah's Witness was a colleague of mine, and he was having a lot of problems. I said, sage your house and shit will change. He goes, sage my house? And I'm like, dude, is it working the way you're doing it? He goes, no. I go, sage your fucking house and watch what happens. 48 hours later, he told me, holy God, you weren't kidding. I go, no, it works. These things work. They work. We're not stupid people. We're not meditating because it doesn't work. We're not stupid. We do the best practices because they fucking work. Working on your chakras work. Working on your meditation works. Saging your house works. It all fucking works. We don't know how and why, because it is in the realm of the 3D unseen gaze, but it fucking works. And burning books does not work. It harks back to ancient toxic, misogynistic approaches, destroying things created by others. That's insane to me. Insane. And once we understand that, like, for example, if I was in a community, I would not be with a community of hunters. But there will be communities that will hunt. And that's their prerogative. Just like in India, there was, I think there still is, society down into the southern part of it, and yet we're almost for over 2,000 years they've been vegetarian. In other words, they get their protein from dairy, from legumes, and so forth. Fully vegetarian. But on the upper north, when you go into other parts of India, they're eating meat, for example, right? Okay, so it's like even communities will be built that will be more in alignment with each other, and so on and so forth. So we just need to find our community, be honest about what we want, and not bend ourselves to people's agendas. All right? Sending you much love on your journey. I'll upload this on YouTube.